Kia ora, nau mai, haere mai, welcome. You're watching this video because you're interested in studying counselling, a Bachelor of Counselling at Vision College in Christchurch. My name's Campbell, I'm one of the tutors here at Vision College, and this is Kylie, who's one of our awesome second year students. I'm going to talk to you, we're both going to talk to you for a few minutes about our course, and then we'll collect some questions from you if you have any via the chat, and we'll answer those questions. So, the course at Vision College is a Bachelor of Counselling, and I'm clutching the orientation book here because it's all in this book. Now, I'm going to get it from me, from this book, to you. 3-year Bachelor program that's going to end up with you primarily being a counsellor in the one-on-one sense, working in what we call a dyad, at a entry-level professional role. It will also, so it's the counsellor you imagine, one-on-one work. Also begin to equip you for working with children, at-risk youth, and in group settings. So this is a great program to launch a serious adult career as a therapist. It takes 3 years, and like I said, Kylie's in the second. And second year means that you are on placement, the student's on placement. So there's some classes and some placement work. So do you want to tell us about your journey so far? You're halfway through.
I am. Yeah, so I started last year was my first year. And intentions, I was something that I was really passionate about and interested in. And like anything else, I put off, but I thought actually there's never going to be a right time. Enrolled, and it was actually a really easy process. Coming into it, you can have lots of nerves, but the staff here are so supportive and friendly. So the process was really easy. The classmates were great. I'm actually a mum of 3 and a wife, so I work part-time also and decided to do full-time study. So it was a really big deal for me. And the journey's been great. Like, it has been one of those things where I've had to be organised, but I love that at Vision College there is a lot of support within the tutors and in the staff. So that's helped me in my journey throughout last year, and even this year having placement. There's always that personal touch of comfort, really, going to a tutor and saying, hey, this is what's happening, and then kind of working that out with you. So it's been great.
Great, I'm pleased. So we, like Kylie's saying, we have small classes, maybe no more than 20 people, with a high student to teacher ratio. And we take this stuff seriously. And so we take 3 years to turn out a professional who has knowledge, but also depth of formation, of character development, who's ready to work, ready to begin to work with complex presentations in the real world out there in professional settings. So we think about that journey, 3 years, year 1, year 2, and year 3. Year 1 is a foundation year that is getting the student ready for their placement in year 2, and it's a lot of work on the heart of the student, really, isn't it? You kind of start going, how can I start helping other people? But the challenge is, well, actually, have you been helped yet? Yeah, and are you in a good place to actually even safe place to launch, kind of to be caring from? So if we're being honest and realistic, there's almost a deconstruction stage in that first year, eh?
There is. There's so much, you don't really know what you're in for, but as you go through the year, you start to notice, actually, this is all about me. It's kind of my journey, and you find out the unknown, really. The more you deep going further, you learn so much about yourself that helps you in the second year, really. It's really great to know that, and you become more open. I found this year that I've become more open wherever I find something like, what's that about? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic counselling phrase, isn't it?
It is. What's that about?
Yeah. So Vision College has a great relationship with many agencies all over the city, which is important because we place you, or we help you place yourself into agency settings in the second year, where you start to work with real clients from the city. In the first year, you're just practicing on each other in triads, which is a really great experience. It's a bit scary, but it's very, like most scary things.
Yeah.
That's important.
I really like the triads because you don't actually know what it's going to be like doing real counselling. So it gives you the opportunity with your classmates to experience what that's like and have a tutor there as well to say, kind of see what's happening, give you some guidelines, and point out things. So it's a really helpful tool to have before going out and doing the real work.
Yeah. And in the real work, then that feels scary too, because you're working with real people and with real issues. Not that the classmates don't have real issues, do they?
No, they are real.
And that's really supported as well. You have a supervisor in the agency, you have other staff at college, and you have an external supervisor as well. As you carefully and at the appropriate speed start to work with real people and get a sense of what it's like to work in an agency and what it's like to maintain a practice. And so that year passes, you do your hours. It's 100 hours, 200 hours in year 2, isn't it?
100 hours
of
good counselling. To know. 100 hours. 100 hours of counselling, and on top of that, so you have external supervision and you have personal counselling as well. So that will be outside of Vision College. That's in the first year as well. So you have your own counselling, which has been great as well. You definitely need it. Throughout the journey. Yeah.
So by the end of the second year, you really know what you're doing, and then the third year, you get to specialise a little bit more and work on more niche subjects like working with children or maybe addictions or things that are more kind of specific to types of counsellings or types of clients. So if you've got questions, please add them in. We'd love to send you one of our orientation packs or the info pack, and which will guide you in ways to explore, but also, gets you reading this, gets you with a whole new set of questions about us and how it is. So do get in contact if you would like us to post you one of these. Got a question there, Brian?
So we've got a question, am I eligible for study-linked loans and allowances?
Right. Do you want to address that one?
I'll leave that one to you.
How does that make you feel? Yes, you are. This is a full NZ QA approved course, so like all those others, you can apply for student loans to cover your costs and student allowances to have an allowance. So that's great.
Yes.
Can you please explain more about what a triad is?
Yes. Okay, so a triad is with your classmates. So you have 3 of your fellow classmates, and one will be practicing their counselling role. You'll have a client, so the other classmate will be sitting in as a client, and the third person will be an observer. So they're just taking notes, noticing what you might not see, what you might miss, and what you've done really well. They'll also encourage you and give you some feedback. And then you'll also have a tutor there that oversees all of that for an amount of time. And then you're left alone to do it a bit, and then you come back and they go over it. It's really daunting at the start, but it's such good practice in the end. You've learned to love it, I guess. Yeah.
It's where the rubber hits the road, isn't it?
It is. That's pretty much where you're doing the work. You can learn. There's so much learning in class, and then it's a whole different process when you're in triads, actually practicing counselling, where people come in, classmates come in with problems, and you get to counsel. Yeah. So it's a great experience.
Yeah. So they happen once a week. And there's paper, you have papers, I lecture a paper called Aotearoa New Zealand Society, so that's a Wednesday morning, and we're looking at New Zealand society, all the forces like colonisation and free market, globalisation, all these sort of things, poverty, all these issues that actually, and systems that make a client, that are part of the part of your story. And what is your story, right? You have to know who you are. So we do those kind of papers, and so that's quite, that's me talking to you and you learning stuff and reacting or responding. And then the triads kind of is a different, it's like, okay, we've learned all this stuff, now let's practice it together and build up these core skills, so that you aren't just learning about it, you're doing
work as well. Yeah. And even at Vision College as well, the classroom settings are really intimate in the counselling classroom. I've found being at Vision and doing year 1, going through year 2, you do become, as a whānau, you become a family in a way, because you are spending majority of your week together the first year, and then the second year you are able to bounce off each other and really support each other in your journey together. So it's really homely feeling, unlike other places that I've been to where you sit, there's your lecturer, you have your class and then you go away. So you do have that connection and relationship here as well. So I've really enjoyed that aspect too.
Yeah, and that works as extra support, doesn't it?
It does.
It's not just you and your books. It's this, like say, a whānau doing a process together, and because stuff happens in life.
It does, and you become a family because you get to know about their families and what they're going through, and being counselling, you know a lot about them. So they become your whānau, and it's really lovely. It's really nice.
And it's great. I mean, if you've studied before or done anything with sort of with purpose, it's so good to share that with people who are also exploring similar types of purpose. Because, well, and you're going to get people who go at the start, I don't know what I want to do, I just want to help people. Others will be like, well, I really want to work with youth, or I really want to work with, immigrants or addicts. And so it's different, but it's generally the same. And it's just great to be leaning into the same material, the same personal growth with your whānau.
So where is the counselling course available?
Right. So the counselling course is available here in Christchurch, at our Christchurch campus. And that's the answer. And I guess the other question is is it available online or by distance? And the answer is it's not. And in some ways we don't think we could do that because we need to be able to do this. You want to work with real people. So so that's good, because this is one of the jobs that robots aren't going to replace us in, because people need people. But it also means that in the training we can't use the technology too much, because we have to be in the room. We have to be
connecting. Experiencing each other.
So how big are the classes?
Year 1 we started off with over 21 I think maybe. As the year went through, there were probably a bunch of us, that maybe about 4 that dropped away for other reasons. So at the moment there's 11 of us?
So that's in the second year?
So there's 11 of us that have gone through to the second year. And like I said, we're really close. We meet in class and out of class now, actually. So we've become really great friends.
Another question there could be, can I study part-time? And the answer is you can. And often what can happen is that at the end of the first year, people might drop back to part-time. Or, people may do the first year part-time and then speed up to full-time, which is more normal. As you could imagine, part-time is part-time, so you're kind of not getting it as intensely as maybe is the ideal. But we've all got to balance where we are in finance and all that sort of stuff. But I know that the students that do it full-time get the most out of it.
It is something that I've thought about doing part-time. And the other thing for me is extended it out, so it was double the amount of time to get the degree. And like I said, it is really busy. Like I've managed to juggle 3 younger children, I should say. So that comes with sports and everything in school. And the hours are actually really flexible. So the first year you are in class Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So you have the Monday and Friday off. So that was really great. And then the second year we have class on a Monday only, and then we have placement. So I do my placement on a Tuesday. So it does allow time. So it is achievable. If you're thinking, do I go part-time or full-time? I would suggest full-time, but completely it's up to you and what that looks like for you.
Another thing to think about is it's a full, university level bachelor, academic writing, those things matter. But most of our students are over 30. So it's actually years since some of them have studied at that kind of level. So we get that, and we offer a lot of support to bring people up to that level of academic writing and how to reference and how to do essays and reports. So if you're feeling anxious about, will I even be able to, keep up, then we get that too, because the majority of the students will actually be feeling that in that place. We actually don't accept students, or don't kind of, I guess it is accept students who are too young. We're concerned about maturity and life experience, and having been around a bit and got a bit of story and a few issues. So you will probably be on the course with people quite like you.
So is this a faith-based course, and what does that side of things look like?
Okay. So Vision, just sorry if I answer that.
Yes, of course.
So Vision College is a faith-based college, and the underpinning of the course is faith-based, or it's Christian, but not in a way that's exclusive or uncomfortable to people who don't profess a Christian faith. So, I mean, statistically, maybe only a third of each class would actually be like, church-going Christians. Most of the staff are, and so that's so what I want to say there, that need not be a something that puts people off, because they're not going to get kind of Bible bashed or anything.
No,
like that.
definitely not. And in our classroom comes from all different walks of life, and what I have really enjoyed is getting to know about their faith or what they believe in, and we're all completely different. So it's great to actually be amongst people that are different. I know that when I signed up there, it was Christian values is what I had heard. And I really like that as well. But in being in our class, I've learned so much more in other areas. So it's different for everybody. And that's part of the learning, I guess, that helps.
The form of counselling we learn is called person-centred counselling. So, I mean, go and Google that and learn what that is. And we believe that's the best one, if I can be honest about that. And one of the reasons for that is that it's about meeting the unique individual in front of you. And so we do a lot of work on that. Who is the unique individual in front of you, and who are you? Because those two things have to they're interplay with each other. And so what if they are a Christian, or what if they're Muslim? You need to be able to be reflexive and responsive, and being able to work with whoever comes through the door. So we talk a lot about diversity and cultural competence. So that's more in the conversation than not, really.
I would agree. I think it's being comfortable just with whoever walks through your door, that you are comfortable with sitting with that person and really being there with them, and noticing those reactions that, who knows, that might pop up.
Or even just, you're a woman, I'm a man. What does that mean? Scary. Yeah, or not. So,
what do I need to get into this program?
What do you need?
What do you need? What does that mean?
What are the entry criteria?
Right.
Okay.
Well, you were the last. You were let in more recently than me. What were the entry criteria?
Oh, there's actually a process. I came in, it was an information day, so you can come in and get some information, and then there wasn't really, I'm trying to think, I had studied before, and that was years ago. So, I mean, there's not much. You have pretty much just being a likeable person, I guess. Is that even a thing?
Quite that, is it? Yeah. That's a really tricky question. That's
really tricky because there is a process where you'll have interviews. So I remember coming in and I met a couple of the tutors and we had an interview, and that was really going over what the course was, what it entailed, and actually seeing if it would be a right fit, if that makes sense. And they were actually really aware that I was a full mum and a wife, and I had lots of other things, part-time work as well. So they actually were really caring in that process of saying, it is a really full-on, it's a Bachelor of Counselling, and is that actually going to fit in with your life? So they are really careful, I guess, in the aspect of, are you going to be able to handle it, I guess.
Yeah, thanks for the answer. I think that's a good way of expressing it, because there's no like criteria or hope. It's more for you to jump through. It's more like, this is really serious. This is hard work. So are you ready? And how can you know? Because you haven't done it yet. But yeah, are you in a place to take on this kind of work at the moment, or would it be better to do something first, your own counselling, or a different course on to lift your academic ability, or things like this.
Yeah. I don't know if they still do it. I remember there being a little essay that you had to write, 500 word essay, and I guess that was just to see where that's sitting at for you, if you need extra support in that area, and it wasn't daunting at all. I mean, coming back to school was always a bit scary, but it was just part of that process to say, oh, actually, this is what it's going to look like. This is kind of gives you a feel to what you're going into. So I found that helpful.
Yeah.
Could I study a couple of papers individually?
Could you study a couple of papers individually? Yeah, could. That person could. So in theory, yes, you can. That's like the shortest answer. But then I'd want to discuss that with you, and, why kind of thing, because they all are married together and work together. And so, so if that's like, I'm going to get into the course more intensely the year after, but can I lighten the load by ticking one or two little ones off? Yeah, I think that's doable. Yeah, I hope that's an answer. There's no. I guess what I'm expressing is there's no real solid rules. Let's talk about it and treat you like the unique individual you are, and see what's going on and what can work. So feel free to get in contact and ask those questions.
Can I do this course if I have a criminal record?
That's a good question. You can do this course with a criminal record, right? That's not a problem. It's more, will people employ you with a criminal record later, eh? And that's because they do their police vetting, and that's beyond us. So yes, you can. Is the answer.
How does it work if the COVID levels change? Do you offer online in that case?
So yes, what did we do?
We do. We worked around that. We actually did some Zoom classes, so a whole completely new experience, and we made it work. And that's the thing, is you actually don't know what is ahead of us and what's going to happen. Vision College made an opportunity so that we are able to access our classes online. We have a what is it called? Online learning platform that has all our papers there. We can see assignments, we can see what's up and coming. We have emails to the tutors, and they are great at responding. If you even have any queries or worries, you can just easily email through and there'll be a reply straight away. So very flexible, it does work. And I have heard that year ones actually we managed to do triads and everything on there. So it's, yeah.
It was hard. It was harder, but it was possible. So I think like we all found in lockdown, oh, this is hard, but we can survive.
Made it work.
Yeah. Not the ideal.
No.
So what is the advantage of studying at Vision compared to a university or other organisation?
Right. So the advantage is that we do person-centred, which is just such an amazing, wonderful modality is the right word. So you know that there's other counsellors have modalities that work from. Person-centred is it's profound and it's deep and it's honest. Like this is not you can't. Well, you might want this, right? But you can't have it. You cannot fake this course. You can't get through kind of with right answers that aren't true answers. Like it really goes to your heart and it's transformative of you, because the core belief is that for you to effectively bring someone else to health, you must be somewhere near health yourself. And when your healthiness is put near someone else's less than healthiness, then that has a transformative effect. So something really deep is happening in our hearts as we train. More than just learning a method. You know, when they say that, repeat it back to them. When they do that, you know, it's much more subtle than that, much more serious than that, and authentic. And that's recognised in the community. We have these great relationships with agencies. They're happy to get students from us. They see the depth of maturity in our students, which means that they can get to a depth of mature work with the clients. So it feels really uncomfortable in this day and age to back your own organisation and be like, but I really think that you can't go past what's being offered here.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. Personally, I've found person-centred counselling has helped me. It's a lot of self-work that you're doing, developing within yourself, and not just in the classroom and in your work, in your mahi, but at home. I've found me as a mum and as a wife, my relationships have changed so much just over the last year and this year, where I've actually seen things within me that I'm like, oh, that doesn't sit right. And I've seen a huge difference in the way that I interact with my children, and just noticing things that I had no idea I was doing, or even that it was affecting them, not in a really bad way, but you know, you learn all these things as you go. And even with my husband, like we have such a stronger relationship, and just from me doing a lot of self work, like there's so much involved. It's just, it's something that you can invest in yourself as well in all areas of your life. It helps.
Do you help the students find employment in counselling?
We help you find placements in the second year and in the third year, and we help you find that by making you a skilled professional. So that's a big help. We don't kind of give you jobs, but we get you as ready as we can for work in the professional world. And as students go on and get work. I'm a practicing therapist myself. I maintain my own practice as well as tutoring here. So I know what that's like, and what that process is, and what it's like to work with real clients. And so that informs my work with the students as well. It's very much about training people for professional helping roles.
Well, that's all the questions we have.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you for tuning in or watching this video, and we hope it's been helpful and informative, and we'd love to meet you in person. So please do get in contact if you would like to, and we can get in the room and get the ball rolling and see where this could go for you. all the best.
Thank you.
See ya.
Hope to see you soon.